Hey guys, how's it going? This was a bit sudden, but I did want to broadcast today's game since I didn't really have too much homework, and for one of my professors gave me my homework later. So I figured, hey, why not watch the Yankees game? And they got delayed about 3 hours, and I wasn't expecting them to still not be playing by now, so why not do something productive today? Well, today's game is between the Rangers and the Yankees, of course. And starting on the bump today for the Yankees is Masahiro Tanaka. He is 10-7 with a 4.47 ERA this season, and his last couple starts have been very good. He's been going the distance as well. I think he's gone 7 innings, like 3 out of his last 4 starts, or at least into the seventh inning, maybe all four, but something around that mark. And his splitter, which was a pitch that he's trademarked his entire career. It's like his high 80s fastball that just drops, and he's regained it. He actually wasn't as effective earlier in the season, which Tanaka kind of critiques that it may have been because of the new baseball that they introduced in the majors, since he had less grip on the seams, and now he's a better feel for it. So, it's exciting that Tanaka's getting hot at the right time because, probably it's about 5 more starts or so. Then it comes playoff time, and, Tanaka is very likely could be our number one starter. And he should show why we should put him as our number one. There's a chance that Severino or Herman or maybe Paxton could be our number one, but when in doubt, Tanaka has the most playoff experience out of all of them, and he'll get the nod if he continues this really good pace that he's had for the last few starts. And the Yankees yesterday, if you saw some of that broadcast or just heard about it, they had walked off for the second straight day. They beat the A's for the first time in a series this season. Tanaka's ready. Shinsho Chu is ready. Here comes the pitch. And the fastball misses high and outside 1-0. So Chu, I think he may have played. I know he definitely played in the Reds. May have played in the Indians, but I could be confusing with Phillips, who went from the Indians to the Reds. As Chu swings and misses that slider 1-1. But he signed a big deal with the Rangers some years back. It was I think it was something like an 8-year, $180 million deal. He still actually can be decently productive for the Rangers. His outfield uh, defense has eroded pretty badly, and now he's mostly a DH and like a spot outfielder, but can still hit, still get on base well. So, still a decently productive player. Here comes 2-1. Ball tapped in the middle, ball right into their beloved Gleyber Torres for out number one. As much as people say that the shift is ruining the game of baseball, that reason right there, that would be a single up the middle for majority of baseball and its history. But nope, the shift, the Yankees do rob a hit right there. So, sometimes it works out. And actually, the Yankees are very good at employing their shift. And I think last year they had something like 30 outs above average because of their shift. So, it works. So why not keep using it? Here's Elvis Andrus. Here's a slider at the top of the zone for strike one. So let's see. I know Andrus is top of the league in stolen bases. Let's see how high he is. He is fourth. There are 27 stolen bases. The guys above him are Jonathan Villar with 33, Alberto Mondesi with 34, and Mount Smith with 39. Here comes the 0-1. And that ball is poked the other way, but foul, 0-2. It's interesting. I mean, Andrus, for a lot of his career, had little to no power. And then I think last year, or maybe even 2 years ago, he was part of the elite 2020 group, meaning that he had 20 homers and 20 stolen bases. Always had speed, always usually hit about 270 plus, played decent defense at short. And this year he also has done double-digit home runs, which I don't think he's done too often in his career. He's not going to reach 20 this year, but 10 homers is still not bad for a guy who steals about 30 bases. And yeah, this is what I was talking about with the splitter. In his last 10 starts, opponents are hitting 217 against not his splitter and have not hit a home run. So he has found his bread and butter pitch in his most recent outings. Andrus fouls that one off, still 1-2. So the announcer was saying the adjustment that Tanaka made said his splitter, the way he gripped it was usually on the seams of the ball. And since the seams aren't as rough, and under the glove of LeMahieu into left field, wonder that would go as an error. And Frazier quickly throws the ball in to limit Andrus at first. It was hit pretty hard. Yeah, he should have had that one easily. That one just snuck under the glove, step to his left, and didn't get it. Really can't say enough good things about LeMahieu. And he's really good he's not bad at third or first, and he's really good at second. So the fact that he can play corner infield positions relatively well for most of the season, that's fine. Usually makes a ton of play, but just had a bad read on it, which happens to everyone, of course. A slider in there for strike one. So it's an 0-1 count to Willie Cahoon, who I think only stands at 5'8", which makes him one of the smaller players across Major League Baseball. I think the only current major leaguer smaller than him is Jose Altuve, who stands about 5'6" on a good day. And you can see the umpire's taller than him, so not wrong with the height here, and I can even double check it. Yep, 5'8", exactly. I know my small players. He was actually a very highly touted prospect for a while, and he definitely still has some pop. Probably between 15 and 25 home runs is kind of his ceiling. But he does struggle defensively, and I guess he's kind of a one-dimensional player in some respects. So, his bat in the minors was astounding, but hasn't translated too much at the major league level. It makes him like a respectable offensive major league player, but I wouldn't say he'd be above average offensively. When you're one-dimensional like that, well, then you're not really an above-average starter, or even an average starter for that matter. Here comes the 1-2. Ball's poked foul. Still 1-2. And let's see if that ball hit towards LeMahieu was a hit or not. It was, so Rangers got the first hit of the ball game, and Andrus more specifically got the first hit of the ball game. So the Yankees' rotation has been rolling really well as of late. Happy just had his best start of the season yesterday. Herman pitched well in his last outing. Patson pitched well. I mean, those guys, could be our four guys. Or that was ripped down the right field line and off the fence. That'll be extra bases for Cahoon. Actually, no, he's strand to a single. Wow. I mean, Cahoon is not the fastest of players, but the judge has such a good arm. He literally got the ball in a couple bounces off the fence and just gave a straight throw to second base. So that misplay by LeMahieu kind of proving costly already. Instead of 2 outs with runner on first, it's first and third with 1 out. And it's amazing what Judge is capable of, or just major league outfielders in general. I mean, he just picked up that ball, got it out of the glove, and just turned and just threw a beam to Torres at second base. It's insane how good his arm is, and I can just just look at one place for a split second and just make an accurate throw like that. Here is Normar Mazara. That slider misses outside 1-0. So you kind of see some similarities between some of the hitters on the Rangers. They have a few guys who are really good offensively, but are also kind of one-dimensional. And I should probably double-check this about Mazara, but I don't think he's that good defensively. And he doesn't hit for an incredibly high average. I think this year's a little better, but he kind of lost some power with it. So, again, kind of like these one-dimensional guys who hit about 20 homers, 250+, but don't run well and are not great defensively. So kind of like a version of the Padres, honestly, where the Padres have a lot of power, but they don't get on base very well. I'm not sure if these guys are great on base as well. I'm not too familiar with the Rangers hitters exactly, but I do know they have a series of one-dimensional sluggers. And I could double check about Mazzara now, see how good his defense is, and I'll just announce pitch by pitch in the meantime. Mazzara swings through that splitter, so now it's a 1-1 count. Yeah, so I was right about Mazzara. He has a -4 defensive runs saved and -2.9 ultimate zone rating. So that makes him below average defender. When you have when those types of stats, when you're below 0, it means you're below average. So that's a pretty. I'll get a run in right to Frazier, and I'll throw to second. Good strong throw to second to stop Calhoun at first, but the run does score, and just way too fast, and that ball hit deep enough so the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. So again, that misplay by LeMahieu proves costly, because that would have been the third out of the inning. So, what can you do? But this is a really potent Yankees offense, so I'm sure we'll get that run back. It's not looks fine so far, and hopefully that'll just be its only blemish of the day. So here's a guy that I've heard about a lot more recently. And this guy's name is Danny Santana, who just swung and missed at a slider 0-1. He's batting .288 with 24 homers. I think he always had some decent pop. I think he was just on the Mariners, and I can double check that, but he hasn't played for too long. He really broke out this year, and not really too many people know about him, as that slider misses low 1-1. Oh, actually, he was on the Twins. That's right. He was on the Twins, and he was on the Braves. Yeah, now it's coming back to me. It's actually been the lead since 2014, and it's funny because before this season, he only had 13 home runs, and this season he has 24. So, everyone making that home run jump. You could say because of launch angle, could say because guys or major league teams are valuing home runs more than stolen bases, since they kind of came to the conclusion that if you're not successfully stealing a base 75 to 80% of the time, at the very least, then you shouldn't be stealing. Well, ground the middle, right to LeMahieu, who throws to first in time. Looked at second, but no one was covering. But look, we still got the play. So the Rangers get a couple of hits, get a run, and strand one. As we head to the bottom of the first, the Rangers up 1-0. Alrighty, we are back. The Yankees lineup is as follows. We have DJ LeMahieu at third, Judge and right, Torres at short, Sanchez catching four to DH, batting fifth. So that's an improvement from yesterday. Void at first, Talkman in center, Frazier in left, and Wade at second, and Tanaka in the bum, of course, not hitting as well, obviously, since we're in the American League. So the Rangers have Mike Minor on the hill for them, and Minor, I bet you, will probably come top 5 or at the very least top 10 in the American League Cy Young Award. He's been excellent for the Rangers this season, and they really just, took a flyer off him. About, I think it was a 1-year, $8 million deal or something around that, and he has been the ace of this Rangers team. Actually, a lot, he deserves a lot of credit because for a little while the Rangers were competing within the wild card race, and Minor's been their best player. Well, pretty much Minor and Gallo, but Gallo's been injured. Here comes the pitch to LeMahieu. It pops it up, but out of play. And I'm pretty sure Minor was on Braves. I'll check that, because I can't really think of any other team he's been on. And he sounds like a guy that was on the Braves. I feel like I remember him on that team. Oh, he was on the Royals. That's right, and wow. Yeah, he was on the Royals on 2017. Actually, he's on the Rangers last year too. So I think he's just kind of had 1-year deals the last couple years, and I'm sure he'll get a nice contract this season. But yep, I was right about him being the Braves' first 5 years of his career from 2010 to 2014. He was on the Atlanta Braves. Mayhew hits it right off Minor. Be a tough play. Minor picks it up, fires the first in time. Got him right in the back. Doesn't look too phased by it. You do see the trainer and the manager come out just as precautionary reasons because, got to protect your players, especially your pitchers. And, getting hit off the back at 100 miles per hour, that will never feel good. So, LeMahieu does what he does best and just hits the ball hard. I got him on the butt, actually. So, better than a back, by far. Yeah, good job by Minor to recover that ball quickly. Stayed very calm, and everyone's around him, but he's fine. He's even smiling a bit, saying like, "Oh yeah, like hit me in the media area, so I'm good. I'm good to go. Don't worry about me. I'm your ace. I got this." And here's Aaron Judge, and it's interesting because the Yankees set a record in August for most home runs ever hit in a month with 74. I know what the previous record was. It was 58 home runs, so they didn't just break the record, they shattered it. And one of the top guys who had most home runs for the Yankees in that month was Aaron Judge, who hit 8. You know how many home runs he had before August? It was 11. So he really had a good month of August and really a good second half of August. Like as soon as he went to Oakland, which is his hometown, he just started raking, then raked against the Dodgers, and then I think he got a home run or two against the A's when they came to New York. So he has been great. He also did well against the Mariners too. So yeah, he had a really good second half of August, and I actually wrote an article about him about if he was affected by a oblique strain because he had like no home runs to pull side, and literally like the day he got published, he had a home runs to pull side. Has had a couple since then. He's looked a lot more like his Judgian self in like the past like few weeks. So again, I always like it when players like Judge, especially players of the team I'm rooting for, prove me wrong, and just it's not that the stats were flawed. It's just it was perfectly reasonable to think that he had an oblique strain. And many other people thought so as well, that he was still affected by it, even former Yankee Carlos Beltran. But, hey, he's starting to find his groove, so putting those injury concerns to rest. And here comes the 2-2 for Minor. And he puts that one to short. Andrew steps, fires to first in time, 2 away. So that was a much less painful out than the first one. So Minor is okay after that hit by pitch. Like I said, him in a good place you want to get hit, not in the face, not in the arm. hitting the butt. That's probably the most preferred area to get hit. An 100-mile-per-hour beam right back at you, 60 feet, 6 inches away. Speaking about home run hitters, here's Gleyber Torres, who had 13 homers in the month of August. He by far led the Yankees. I think the next closest guy was LeMahieu with 9. And he fouls off that slider 0-1. It's also pretty funny because this guy's only 22 years old, and people forget that because he's so good, but he leads the Yankees in home runs, and the Yankees are one of the best home run teams this year. I think they have something like 256 home runs, and they'll shatter their own team record high of 267 from last year, without a doubt. So, the fact that a 22-year-old is leading that type of team at home runs, that's insane. And, as soon as the Yankees win a World Series, the Aroldis Chapman trade will turn to the Gleyber Torres trade. If you don't know, when the Yankees traded Aroldis Chapman to the Cubs, they got one of the best prospects in baseball in Gleyber Torres, who then proceeded to win the Arizona Fall League MVP, which is like a league for like minor leaguers in the offseason. And then he came third in Rookie of the Year last year at the age of 21, behind fellow teammate Miguel Andujar and two-way Angels phenom Shohei Ohtani. Now this year he somehow even improved on his campaign from last year. And he walks on 5 pitches, so hopefully get a little 2-out rally going here. Sanchez, who is second team of home runs and actually was the fastest American League player to reach 100 homers, he did so in 355 games. Sanchez has 32 homers, is right behind his teammate Torres. Torres playing shortstop today as GD has a day off. That ball is ripped down the left field line. Only a matter of it's fair. It is fair just off the fence. That'll be extra bases for Sanchez. And Sanchez does get the double, even though that was hit really hard off the wall. So Yankees do have that rally going. And it's a good sign that we're already hitting the ball hard off Mike Minor. As LeMahieu had a good hard hit, and Sanchez, that was an absolute rope down the left field line. Literally just stayed fair. Probably by about a foot. It was a low-hanging line drive, and it nearly got off the ballpark. It's about probably maybe 10 feet away from over the 318 sign in left field. Wow, that's pretty funny. So, I said earlier that the shift can help you. Well, it can also kind of negatively affect you sometimes. And the third baseman, Danny Santana, is a good, 25 feet off the third baseline. So Torres can really just take as big of a lead as he wants. And Ford takes a slider for a strike 0-1. And Ford, as I mentioned, hit the walk-off homer yesterday, and he has been really, really good as of late. Actually, in his last 16 games, he is batting .340, 7 homers, 11 RBIs, and 830 slugging percentage. And that's absurd because I think the MLB average slugging percentage is like 400-something. So essentially double the Major League average in the last 16 games. And it's insane because Yankees actually had a better first base first base prospect in the minor leagues, and that was in Ryan McBroom, who's had a very nice season in AAA. And actually, he's just traded him to the Royals, which I found a little annoying because all we got for him was international bonus pool money. But, we actually now have our good lefty first baseman again, which, the Yankees have had a series of good lefty first basemen from Gary to Manley to Teixeira to Tina Martinez, not necessarily in that order, but we've had some really good ones. So, and also, Yankees love having left-handed hitters, or at least a lot of right-handed hitters who can hit over the right field porch because, it's so small. And 314, one of the smallest porches in all of baseball, perhaps even the smallest. No, I think the Red Sox right down the line is 302. So to have a first baseman like that is great. And, we found a guy who can pair with Voit. I think Forrest not a bad defensive first baseman either. So, yeah, it works out. We need that kind of first base DH type of guy since Encarnacion is injured. Actually, he's coming back, I think, the next day or two, which is great. So, yeah, always good to have a guy who hits, and this guy just came out of nowhere and has 10 homers for us. He had actually a pretty good season in AAA. Just taps someone right back to minor, fields in a bounce, fires to first, and he gets out of the jam. So the Yankees strand runners on second and third and do not score. Rangers still up 1-0 as we head to the second. See you later, dude.
See ya.
Alrighty. So one of the network that I watch it on, and I don't think I should say it because I might be like a copyright infringement or whatever, but the network I watch on, they always do like the conversations of the day, and one of the conversations is that what was the conversation of the day? Oh, so baseball has this policy that it includes this year as well, but it's going to change soon. The policy is that their normal roster 25 people on the roster goes to 40, which is a huge difference because that means about a third of your team is like guys who weren't originally your best 25 guys, and It's really just like your best 15 minor leaguers that are most impactful 15 minor leaguers that you need on the roster since their minor league season ended. So yeah, they're changing it to 28 next year, going from 25 to 28 just to add in a couple reinforcements to try to help out. But this year it's still 40, and they don't bring up 15 guys right away. As Odor, that one's hit off forward, and Odor will have a hit. So Yankees defense looking pretty shabby right now, not good at all. Actually, no, it was hit off Voigt as Ford's DHing today. He kind of like slid to make a stop, but then it bounced off his glove, almost like he kind of slid before trying to get in front of that ball. And it is an error, so it's not a hit. So again, Yankees defense not helping Tanaka so far. Stat slider Dunson for a strike 0-1. And the guy who up is Ronald Guzman, who I think has been in the Ranger system for a couple of years now. And he has, I think, decent pop. He has 8 homers in 70 games, so that's not too bad. But he's also batting 193, which shows you why he's only played in 69 games or so, because he is not batting at a high enough level. Is still a below average offensive player in that respect. Anytime you're hitting under 200, I mean, isn't like, for example, Gary Sanchez last year, 18 home runs for a catcher, great, but some probably top 5, top 10 amongst all catchers with that many home runs. But he hits, 190 last year, so he was not that great offensively. He's not thrown to first, but Odor is back in there safely. And actually, when you bat under 200, you're batting under the Mendoza line, as they call it, because there's a player named Mario Mendoza who always bat under 200, but somehow kept the job for so long. So that's why they call it the Mendoza line. And that's what exactly relates to Guzman, since he's batting underneath it. He fouls that one off, so now it's 1-2. So the runner on base, his name is Rougned Odor. Gotta love the name. And this guy also isn't that big either. Let me find out his height, because he's really not that tall. I'll throw back to first. Nearly got Odor. He stands 5'11". He looks smaller than that on camera, to be honest, because he kind of sits into his batting stance. But he's a very interesting guy for several reasons. First of all, he's part of the most memorable fights, in the 2010s. That's where he literally punched Jose Bautista in the face. Bautista is a very prolific slugger, as Guzman is down on strikes. I think he foul tipped it into the glove of Sanchez, but either way, a strikeout is a strikeout. So 1 away. But more on Odor, he fought Jose Bautista. I think, it was Bautista who slid into second pretty hard. Odor stood up, glared at him, and literally punched him in the face. I mean, gotta credit Bautista for taking that really well, and I highly suggest that you guys look at the video of Rougned Odor versus Jose Bautista. Bautista also, this is a guy who hit 50 homers in a year and was a really good player for the Blue Jays. Not a Hall of Famer, but at least in his tenure for the Blue Jays, had a string of some very good years. And he'll always be remembered for that. I'm still sure there's some T-shirts going around with the Odor Bautista fight. But at the same time, Odor is also interesting because he actually once had the tools to be this insane player. I think he was a 2020 player at one point, as I mentioned before. 2020 is when he hit 20 homers, 20 steals. He was part of that group. And I still think he has speed, but with the whole home run revolution, he's not running as much. And he always had a lot of power for a little guy, someone who's under 6 feet tall. As that slider is in there for a strike going to Delano DeShields. But then his batting average got really bad. I think he actually had a season where he batted under the Mendoza line, and now he's only batting like between like 215 to 230 or so. He has 20 homers, but again, not the great of an offensive guy. Doesn't steal that much anymore, and his defense has always been up and down. So, the Rangers signed him to a team-friendly deal back when he was like a 2020 player, right around that, as Wade catches that pop-up 2 away. Wade is playing second base. So now the Rangers are kind of stuck with him, and he isn't the guy they kind of envisioned him wants to be. And the last guy you just popped out, Delano Shields, he's also a very intriguing player because I forget what team he was on before, but he was something called a Rule 5 pick. A Rule 5 pick is when a player is released from a team and another team picks him up. It's not like waivers. It's something different than that. But it's something like if you pick the guy up, then they have to be on your 25-man roster for a certain number of days, or else you have to pay them like an extra $10,000 or something like that, which is, nothing for these major league teams. But usually these Rule 5 picks, the fact that they get released in the first place, they're usually not that great. But Shields is actually not bad at all. He has really good speed, and he plays really good defense. Not at all a power hitter, not at all that great of a hitter in general, but he, makes his money by speed and defense. So he's been kind of part of the Rangers for the last 3 or 4 years because of that. And that was the guy who popped up last about. Right now, up to bat is this guy named Trevino. He's catching for the Rangers today. I don't have his first name at the moment. Here comes the 1-1. He swings for that one. That was a hanging slider. And by hanging, I mean it just stayed up there. But it didn't stay, in the strike zone. That stayed like, shoulder level. And his eyes lit up and he swung through that. So it's not got really lucky there. The fact that he didn't crush that pitch and the fact that Trevino decided to swing at that type of pitch too. So let's see if Tanaka can get his second strikeout of the game right here. It's a 1-2. Slider just missed outside. Trevino held up. Really good frame attempt by Sanchez. Really stuck that ball out well. But did not get the call. I don't think Trevino's that tall either. He really doesn't look so tall. There's a pitch. Taps the one. Can be a tough play for Torres, and he runs and just gets out Trevino by a step. And Tanaka gets by the error. By the way, Trevino, his first name is Jose, so Jose Trevino. Stands at 5'11", so kind of a small catcher, but the more important part is Yankees are still down 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. And here's Mike Miner, throws a fastball just inside, so it's a 1-0 count. Sorry, music kind of cut off a bit earlier than I expected, so I apologize for the awkward silence for 30 seconds or so. So here is Luke Voigt, who came off the injured list a few days back and also made the error in the top of the inning. So hopefully he can make up for a first bat. Luckily, no harm, no foul, no runs scored because of it. Just made Tanaka throw a couple extra pitches. And it's interesting because, Voigt definitely needs to work on his defense, even though he has and has been better, surprisingly, as he pops that one up. Right there is Odor to make the catch in the outfield, one away. But at the same time, Voigt's an incredible hitter and deserves to be in the lineup. And I'm sure he'll improve his defense over the years. And, being a poor defensive first baseman, I mean, it's not as bad as being a poor defensive player in other positions. So, I mean, I know Fangraphs will tell you otherwise, but just by the eye test, in retrospect, just like catching a ball and picking it pretty decently, that's the majority of the job, and most guys who play first base can do that. Anyway, here's Mike Tauchman. Takes a fastball upstairs, now a 1-1 count. So it's pretty interesting to see both Tauchman and Frazier the same lineup, because Tauchman was the guy who kind of kicked off Frazier on the roster. So it was Tauchman who, actually, I think he did it twice, because Frazier originally wasn't on the, I don't think he was originally on the 25-man roster, or I'm not sure. Maybe he was. But anyway, did come off the roster when Frazier was sent down because of his defense and high strikeout numbers. But meanwhile, Tauchman, who wasn't really hitting yet, he ran well and he fielded well and he had a good arm and one of the best fielders in baseball, best outfielders in baseball. So yeah, the Yankees stuck with him. Then his bat finally came along, and there's a reason why that it's been the Yankees' regular left fielder since Hit's been injured. And now when Dunsfer hit the second Yankees hit of the day. So good start for Tauchman right there, showing off the eye black. So he got one on with one out. And, speaking of the devil, here's Clint Frazier. And I do wish Frazier the most success. I mean, ideally you want him to be the left fielder of the future because he can, like I said, really hit. I think he needs to lower his strikeout rate a little bit and increase his walk rate, and of course work on his defense. But what young player, especially, doesn't have flaws? And most MLB players do have their flaws too. But this guy can really be a 20 to 30 homer guy, 850 OPS, maybe get 10 steals this season, although it'd probably be pretty hard to do in a Yankees lineup like this. So, even Boone already said his defense looks better. Really has been working his butt off in AAA, and he wants nothing more to be than a great Yankee. So he grounds that one to third, fires the second on to first in time for a double play. So Yankees go down in order. We do pick up a hit, but do not score as we head to the top of the third. Rangers still have 1-0. we are back. So Chu has his second plate appearance right now. So, like I said, not a bad offensive performance. 20 homers and batting as a 368 OPS, batting 249. So, not bad at all. But, his value is definitely limited because he's a one dimensional player. Kind of just hits well, doesn't run that well, doesn't field that well. So, his value is limited. Comes a 1-1. And she pokes someone the other way. Going to be a tough play for Frazier. And it's over his head. He crashed against the wall. Can't find it, picks it up. And kind of banged up a bit. And he did go up a bit slowly there. Couldn't find the ball at first. And, he's standing up talking to the center fielder talking. Yeah, if Gardner or Talking was out there, they would have caught that. Actually hit off the tip of his glove. Jeez. I know he's been better, but still. It's a weird route there. Kind of went horizontal and not diagonal right away. And that cost him. I mean, I know it's tough. I probably don't even know the extent of it since I'm not a major league outfielder. I'm just telling that from my own experience and, what I'm seeing with the route that he took there. But didn't look pretty. Definitely avoid that better out for like Gardner or Talking would have had. He's a young guy. They're gonna players like him are gonna experience growing pains in areas where they struggle. Defense is one of those areas. Not that he's still like a pretty good outfitter, but at the major league level, he's not quite there yet as a defensive outfitter. 6-0-1. Andrews fouls it off the other way. 0-2. Telling himself he should have had that one. So this is interesting. So this is the latest the Rangers ever faced the Yankees in the season. And so maybe some of the reasons why that is because of that whole interleague squad. Yes, you play teams cover divisions the same amount, but actually no, that's probably not true. But I wonder why they work the schedule like that. I don't actually have a reason for it. I was gonna say, I guess the whole interleague games they play that focus on trying to play them, then maybe teams in other divisions in the same league. It could be a possibility, but I think there's definitely some system headed to the schedules, but I think at this point the Rangers this split here, I think it's just a little random. I don't think that was intentional by any means. But yeah, their entire history would never play games this late in the season. It's just really interesting. 2-2. That ball is fouled off. By season and regular season, because obviously the Yankees and Rangers have faced in the playoffs. I think they faced in 2010. It was also 2010, and I'm pretty sure, I think it was 2010, maybe 2011 too. At least one of those years. And here comes the 1-2. That's that one. So Andrus actually is best friends with a retired player for the Rangers last year, and that is with the player that is Adrian Beltre. And those two had such a fun dynamic. Beltre is a character in his own right. I mean, this guy hated to be, touched on the head for whatever reason, and it was just like a goofball. Both Andrus and Beltre would mimic each other in the field, and they would always fight to catch the pop-ups, even though Andrus has priorities since he's the shortstop. Ooh, that fastball almost hit in the arm. 2-2. That's a goes outside the box and shakes that off. Hear a little grunt. And he's like, oh, or something like that. So Schneider has pretty good control, so that one probably got a little away from him. Smart job by Andrus to take this contact with him. Splits this go now before he can. So Tanaka has been bad so far, but he hasn't dominant. like he has in recent starts. No, I think that's kind of a little bit of part to best trades. That's how he's given up so far, which I'm not sure that's hit. Very hard to calculate. And also the double from Shinso Chu. And also Yankees defense hasn't really done anything for him so far as well. Misput, I'm pretty sure misput Mayhew and the air point, so it seems like it's like one every inning so far. That's what it has been. So sure, like guys, like, come on, you gotta give me something right here. It's a payoff pitch. And just focusing on the other way in the foul. So a little bit of that here from the shortstop. So now just pitch count getting up there. Has got a single out in the third inning. It's almost at 50 pitches. So it might not be in here for long. Like I said, I think his last 4 starts, he reached the 7th inning. At least in 3 of them. And today, not looking like that so far. Here comes the payoff pitch. Gets him on the splitter. That's what you like to see. Not to loud. That's a good statement pitch right there. Hey, I may not have the best of stuff, but it's still good enough to get you out. It's interesting. Like even with the new versus splitter, I swear it's still not as it doesn't have as much depth as its original splitter had. The splitter would drop like 8 inches. Yeah, I'll probably see it's like 5 to 6 inches. It's just still very good. But it's not, 2014, 2016 vintage not. And takes a splitter outside right now. Luna's last at bat had a long single off the wall. I say long single because splitter hit off the fence, but luckily Judge threw it in time. Actually, Calhoun has had more of a home run surge as of late. So his first 74 career games, he 8 home runs, and his last 33 games, he has 11. That's a high fly ball right there, but will stay in the ballpark. Right there. So talking to the catch and fires the third. And Chu is not a great speed, it's not budged for seconds. So 2 away. It's not trying to get out of the jam. Here's Mazzara, and actually his batting average is improved this year. It's up to 268. But like I said, not a great fielder, doesn't run that much. On base percentage below average at 317. Now, once again, he's probably one-dimensional slug. But he actually really does have great power. I think last year at 30 homers, which is pretty good. And this year, despite not getting 17 home runs, I think he might have the longest homer of the year. I think it was about 500 long. 495 feet, something around that ballpark range. And he hit one, I think, a couple years ago, too, that also went about the same distance, so he has really good power on the left side. He's been like that since he was working. I think he's still relatively young. I think he's only 24, 25 years old. I think they viewed when he was 21. Everyone was like, oh, this guy has crazy power to lead 40 homer guy. It's like, not so much. 30 homers might be the ceiling. Strike to the top of the zone 0-2. So he's not battling back after giving out that leadoff double and getting the frame. Here comes 0-2 Mazzara. Swung under 1-2. Let's see how old Mazzara is. Why not? He is 24, so I was right. He never hit 30 home runs. But his first 3 seasons, he actually had 20 home runs, all from 20 home runs. It's pretty interesting. This year might eclipse that mark too. So again, not a bad hitter by any means. He's around like a 250 to 270 hitter, so you know, I'll give him more credit than the original 230 batting average that I thought he had. And I bet you one of these years he might get around 30 homers because, in this day and age, home runs are going out left and right. Still has a chance to pass his career high in home runs. This official beat's on his 56. Again, expecting to be a little better. Let's see, that one is fouled off. Rangers are doing a nice job of raising his pitch again. Tanaka might only be under 5 today, but so hopefully he can retire Zara and smooth sailing the rest of the way after that. That's interesting too. I wonder if Zara came at the same time as Tyler Nagle and Matt Stephenson. I remember like those three lefties just all coming up like around the same time, just all doing well. So let's see. Zara debuted in 2016. Aston Nagle. Sure, let me double check that. Yep, they debuted at the same time, which I think Kepler debuted at the same time. The fastball misses upstairs, so a full count to Zara. So pretty much, Kepler came in 2015, but his first full season was 2016. So I was right, they all kind of came up at the same time. So it's cool because I was kind of pulling out a hat that he's just one of these three strong lefty hitters all coming at the same time. As rookies, pretty much. And, Kepler was still considered a rookie in 2016. Now, I think Kepler has almost definitely had most success in all of them. He has 36 homers this year. Sorry, grounds him on the second. And he throws that first in time. So tonight gets out of the jam. The Rangers strand one. So as we head to the bottom of the third, the Rangers still have 1-0. Alrighty, so we are back. We'll be 9-1 and 2 batting Wade, Mayhew, and Judge at the very least. Wade making his first at bat of the day. And that slider misses low, 1-0. So again, Wade's one of those guys who, hasn't really panned out for the Yankees. I mean, in the minors, he looked really good. Like, really good defender, ran well, bat at 300, had double-digit blossoming pop. Looks like he maybe become like a 2020 guy. Like, that would kind of be like a ceiling, which is pretty good ceiling. But when he came up, he just hasn't been able to hit. That's like low 210s, no power, and since he can't really get on base either, so he hasn't really been able to utilize his speed effectively. And I think his glove has transferred over, but I think he's about an average defender. I don't think he's that above average. I can double check that, because why not? And he strikes out there. Swung and miss on that one. So LeMahieu is actually the only player in MLB to play 30 games at each position this year. And 2 errors at second, 4 errors at third, and 1 error at first. But a majority of the games at second base, to my surprise, because Torres been playing so often. But I guess that's because Didi was injured for the majority of the year. LeMahieu hits it right back up the middle again, and right back to Minor. Minor lets the ball in the glove and says, "Hey, got you twice, same thing. He's going to hit me in the back this time." And now there's 2 away. So, as I said before, LeMahieu has been invaluable for us. Top 5 MVP candidate at the very least. And he's been excellent offensively, career high in home runs. Going to probably exceed 100 RBIs this season. Plays pretty solid defense at first, second, and third. Very versatile. And the Yankees are playing, definitely a decent salary. 2 years, $24 million, which you send the offseason, you're like, all right, that's a solid deal for LeMahieu, as he's been an All-Star before, and he's been a Gold Glover a couple of times, and he just batted his career low last year, though he did have his career high 15 home runs. At that time, now he has 24 home runs, maybe even 25 homers, but yeah, I mean, he's really been great for us. And it's funny because Gardner was struggling the leadoff role because, Gardner, although he's had a really good offensive season, on base percentage around 330 to 350. LeMahieu, his batting average is so high, so now walking off, and his on base percentage is around 380 to 390. So, obviously you want him at the leadoff role, and he's really done an excellent job. I mean, anytime you have about 100 RBIs in the leadoff role, you're doing your job very well. He's really come in clutch so many times, and I think he still leads across the board in baseball in runners in scoring position. I think he bats like 360 plus runners in scoring position with obviously a qualified number of at bats. But it always seems like he comes through in the clutch for us. And recently, he hit the walk-off homer a couple of days ago. Ford hit a walk-off homer yesterday. LeMahieu hit one the day before. That's how the Yankees stunned the A's. And straight 3 call on the outside corner. Just down the Minor has a 1-2-3 inning. As we head to the 4th, Rangers still up 1-0. And we are back. Perfect timing as the song just ended. That slider hits the lower outside corner, 0-1 count to Danny Santana. Santana swings through that slider, so Tanaka quickly ahead. We'd love to see him get a 1-2-3 inning here with these. The defense has been atrocious so far this game, and actually, it's pretty interesting because the Yankees have had some of the best defense they've had in recent years. And if you look around the diamond, besides at first base, we really don't have that bad of a defender. I mean, you could argue that Gregorius isn't that great. But ground it through the hole into right field. Goes through the shift. Just like right where the shift isn't. As Wade was kind of in the outfield, but still wasn't able to get to the ball. That time wasn't defense's fault. It was just, hit in the right place. So Snyder will not have a 1-2-3 inning. But hopefully, we can still have a, as Michael Kay likes to say, an economical inning. An efficient inning, in other words. Yeah, Danny Santana, I mean, that guy's kind of lost in history to me because I think it was like him and Kenny Vargas who were just raking this one year for the Twins. Or like they were hot at the same time or something. Like that's when I heard of him last. And then I haven't heard his name since. Like it's kind of like he disappeared a bit. Isidore just missed that one. I thought it was going to sneak into the foul pole, but it just kept tailing away. It's 0-1 count. So he's great power. He's 21 home runs. That's a good amount for a little guy who's only 5'11". Wow. And like I said before, the Rangers were in the thick of the wild card race. I don't much credit to Mike Minor for that, but the first 84 games, they went 46-38. I think their last couple of games have been like 20 games under 500. So a big difference. They kind of played themselves out of the wild card competition. There's not too many teams above 500 in the American League. There is, Yankees, Twins, Indians, Rays, A's, Red Sox. I think the Angels are right near that mark, and Astros. That's it. So if the Rangers played an even 500 ball, they could have been like in the thick of the playoff race. They're not that close, but they would have been like, 6 games out behind the Red Sox, or just behind the A's. And the A's are only a half game behind Indians and a full game behind the Rays. So it would have been somewhat close in the wild card race. As Adore fouls the one off, thought he had that one. Kind of swung his fist while walking around the plate, trying to get himself settled before stepping back up. It was very interesting because the mindset of the hitter, because you have to be on your horse. There's so much muscle memory involved with hitting. Fast twitch muscles and split-second reactions to reading what type of pitch it is and seeing if you want to swing at the pitch or not. But it's mental too, because if you're just not mentally there, that split-second ball comes by, it's going to go right by you. So hitters, if they don't like something, they'll step back, time, reset. As Adore fouls that went off, still 1-2, and that's what Adore did right there. And that's what he's doing now too. Stepped out of box a good amount. Does what he needs to do. Some players like taking their batting gloves on and off, Odor's, hitting his barrel of his bat against his instep, obviously not to hurt himself, just to do whatever he needs to do to get his mind focused back in there. Kind of like, all right, well, got fooled in that pitcher. All right, didn't hit that pitch where I wanted to. Time to get back to work. It's actually, I think, a great clip from Evan Longoria, was one of the best players in Tampa Bay Rays history. Now he's on the Giants. And wow, it's knocking down the high fastball. Thor got a piece of it, but it went right into Sanchez's glove, so one away. Though Tanaka, fastball's only at 99. He's still got a good hitter, a good power hitter in Odor out on that pitch. And that was Tanaka's third strikeout of the day. Here's the pitch, and the slider misses upstairs, 1-0. Here is Ronald Guzman, who is the first of Tanaka's 3 strikeout victims of the day. I think Guzman has been like this first baseman outfitter type of player. He's been in the system for the Rangers for a couple of years. I think he can hit 15 homers, but that's maybe 20. 20 is like just a bit of a steep ceiling for him. Actually, walks a decent amount. People look at on base percentage just by itself. Like if you're under 330 or don't have a good on base percentage, which means you get on base at a 33% clip. But the thing is, if your batting average is pretty distant from your on base percentage, like this 50 points or more, you won't get a decent rate. You just, don't hit for a good average. So despite Guzman hitting 192, he walks a good amount. His on base percentage is there to show it. It's at 284. So, that's an atrocious on base percentage, but his walk rate's pretty good. It's a 2-1. And slider hits the outside corner, now 2-2. This umpire is a lot more friendly than yesterday's umpire in Stu Shearwater, as Shearwater would not have called that pitch for a strike. Didn't really call any borderline pitches for a strike, to be honest. So, Tanaka not at his very best today, but can always use those calls. He's been pretty consistent both sides. This umpire, that is. Guy yesterday's Shearwater was consistent as well. And Voigt gets that just in foul territory, so still 2-2. Let's see. Just want to see how long Guzman's been in the Rangers organization for. So that fastball misses low. Oh, only 2 years. Actually, he had 16 homers last year. Oh, I didn't realize that. I just feel like he's been a guy who. Let's see, how many years was he in the minors for the Rangers? I think that would be a bit more telling. Oh, since 2012. So yeah, I've heard his name before last year, I feel like. Here comes the payoff pitch. Like I said, he walks a lot, and he walks right there. Took a splitter low, and now the Rangers have first and second with just 1 out. Again, it's interesting. There's actually a great quote that says you're going to have, let's say a pitcher makes 30 starts in the season, 30, 35 starts. Let's say, okay, anyway. The usual say of the adage goes that you'll have 5 really good starts and 5 really bad starts. It's what you do in between those 20 to 25 other starts where you don't have your best stuff, don't have your worst stuff. You just have to grind through it. And that's what Tanaka's doing today. You look on the board, and hit to LeMahieu, throwing a second on the first in time for the double play, and they get out the speed to Shields. Just got out by a step, and Shields one of the faster guys in baseball, so luckily that ball was hit hard enough to turn 2. Tanaka does get out of the jam. And like I said, on the board, gives up 1 run. That's great, but probably only going to last 1 or 2 more innings. And that's had to grind through every inning because he hasn't been as effective today. The Rangers had wanted to bat against him, and the Yankees defense hasn't helped him out. But nonetheless, the Rangers are still up 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, sometimes I do forget to put in my glasses as they are fairly new. So I'll do that now. The whole reason why I have that is because my eyes get tired when I do things like these or have a lot of homework and stuff. But luckily, so far, I haven't had too much homework. I mean, it's only been the first 2 weeks. And I'm going to go over my math homework later with a friend just to make sure it's right. And Spanish that the teacher hasn't sent yet. I could do part of it, but I think I just got to do that all in one sheet. So might as well just do it all together. Alrighty, so we are back. Here's Gleyber Torres to start us off. Wow, that was a really good curveball. That might have been the nastiest pitch of the game. And you gotta love that sequence. Then he gets towards the high fastball, so he changes speeds like that very well. And wow, actually, this is very interesting about Minor. From the first to third inning, it's a 2.11 ERA, 211 batting average against 107 runners in scoring position. After that, his ERA, the 4th inning later on, jumps to 4.24. His ERA on the season is 3.25, which is very, very good. It's one of the best in the American League. Probably one of the best in baseball as well. But hey, now's the time for the Yankees to take advantage. He gets Torres on that nice slider right there as he's down looking, 1 away. And really just played Torres very well there. Threw him a nasty curveball that started the zone and then fell out of it. Threw him the high fastball and threw him that inside slider, the backdoor slider. So really good sequence from Minor as he got Torres out on 3 pitches. And his pitch count, which is very different than Tanaka's, was excellent so far. Just 47 pitches in an inning and a third. 3 1/3 innings, excuse me. As that fastball misses inside to Sanchez, it's a 1-0 count. As last at bat, Sanchez nearly missed a home run as he doubled down the line. Probably missed it by about 10 feet or so. Takes a slider in there for a strike 1-1. So it's interesting for Sanchez because, among throwing ability, he has one of the best arms in baseball, best arms behind the plate. I think he throws an average 86 miles per hour, which is at least 3rd in baseball in terms of throwing velocity. But he only throws out 20% of the runners, if that. And this is the guy who threw 42% his rookie year. He still has that ability. I think his shoulder was still bothering him early in the season. And because you can see because all his throws would tail off to the right. It always seems a bit like the Yankees infielders help them out too because they have some really good handiwork. Like Torres and Didi are really good at tagging runners out. They're very quick to put the glove down the base. And Sanchez, he doesn't have the most accurate of arms, I would say, because I would say it's usually tailed off or a bit high. You don't see it too often anymore. It's on the money. I think he used to maybe have that a bit more, but not as much. But he gets it there quickly, and his pop time is usually around 1.9, which is very good. It's even dipped below 1.9 at times, so it's really good. Miner once again using that fastball to his advantage, the high fastball, and he got Sanchez in the last pitch, and now here comes the payoff. Once again, Sanchez chased that fastball, but this time he fouled it off. Full count. Miner doesn't throw that hard. I mean, I think in terms of like lefty starters, it's probably about average, I would say. He really tops out 93, 94. But, when you have that nice curveball and you change speeds and you throw that fastball out of the zone, it's good. Sanchez loops that one right to Andrus for the second out of the inning. So Miner has retired the last 6 hitters. He's really been dealing so far. You can really envision him at least going 7 innings today. He's been that good. Though the Yankees are down by 1 run because how much traffic the Rangers have put on the bases, and thought Miner's been pitching so well today. And he really had 1 blemish. That was Sanchez's double. And that was with 2 outs, and Ford, who's up now as well, grounded right back to Miner. That killed the rally. That's the only time the Yankees had runners in scoring position. So, what can you do? Can't be perfect with that every time. They haven't really put on too many guys on base to help them out too much. And it's lined right to Odor into the shift. So Miner has another 1, 2, 3, and that's 7 in a row for him. Rangers still carry their 1-0 lead, but this time into the 5th inning. Alrighty, so we are back, and on the break they were showing the Rays walking off against. I forget who they're playing. The Orioles. That's who. Actually, the pitcher going for the Orioles was Deleon Tate. That's a high fly ball, deep right field, and that's yellow by baseball for you folks. A solo homer by the number 9 hitter Trevino, Jose Trevino. The Rangers now up 2-0. So that imposing 1-0 lead just got a bit more imposing. I mean, Miner's been pitching well. Tanaka's been struggling. You saw right there the Rangers finally capitalized on him. They've gone on base every single inning so far. Oh, wow, I mean, Trevino's only 5'11", but he hit that one the other way, eyeing that short porch. So, I mean, hey, that's pretty decent power for a catcher. Never even heard of Trevino before today, and now I remember him. Is that solo shot? That slider hits the outside corner on 1. Yeah, that was middle away. Sanchez wanted more off the plate. And, yep, that's what happens when you make a mistake like that against the number 9 catcher. I mean, still 2 runs in, it's not just through this inning, 5 innings. It's not bad at all. Just the offense has been dead right now. Even yesterday against the A's, I mean, they didn't really wake up until the 8th inning. They scored no runs until then, actually. And Chu swings through that one, so Tanaka right back to it, strikes out the next batter after giving up the home run. Well, I wonder what the percentage is of, after a home run, how many times the guy afterwards gets on base, because I think it's a pretty big number. But Tanaka shutting it down right then and there, so that's at least a good sign. The last pitch was his 78th. Here's Elvis Andrus, who has singled and scored on the only other run of the game, and that was Norman Mazara's sac fly back in the first inning. Tanaka hasn't been that efficient today, so I wonder how far they're going to stretch him. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly you get these next 2 outs. It's at 90, then, I'd be on the fence for it. Jam shot and poked in the center field. Actually, the judge is the one who picks it up. It was in the right center. So Andrus gets his second hit of the ball game. Here is Willie Kahuna that a long line drive single back in the first inning. It's also flown out to center. So Kahuna this season, is batting 277, 16 homers, 36 RBIs, and a 316 on base percentage. So like I said, kind of a one-dimensional slugger. Doesn't have a high on base percentage, doesn't field that well, kind of hard to have a 5.8 DH unless you kind of hard to have a DH who has under 20 homers as well. But, he's still young. I think this is only his second or third career year. You know what I think? I think Calhoun may have come from the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers might have got him. And that's a high fly ball. Deep right field, the judge in front of the track to make the catch. And Andrus will stay at first base, so Calhoun gave it a ride, but it wasn't enough to get out of here. So 2 away. Yeah, let me check where Calhoun came from. So I think he did come from the Dodgers. By the way, Manzara, who, as I mentioned, got the only other RBI in today's game besides Trevino, is up right now. Manzara's batting 267, 17 homers, 63 RBIs on the season, with a month left to go. Fastball misses upstairs, 1-0. And this is Calhoun's third year back. This is the most games he's played in a single year. He has 59 games this year. Before this year, he had 48 games. So, let's see how old this guy is. He's 24, so still very young. Yep, he was on the Dodgers, so I was right. I know my players. What was the trade for him? It was for Darvish. And the Dodgers also sent A.J. Alexy and shortstop Brennan Davis. Alexy was a right-handed pitcher. Is a right-handed pitcher. So Calhoun and Darvish are the only one in the majors right now. So it's interesting. I didn't realize the other two guys of the trade. So always love any types of baseball knowledge like that. This week's knocked his 85th pitch. Well, it's 2 outs, so if you get something like right here, next couple pitches, maybe he'll come out for a 6th inning. I hope he. Well, I don't know. If you have guys you can throw in the bullpen to use, then why not? I think in this case, might as well any pitches just throw them out there for one more. But the outings where you don't have it and you have to be forced to go in for longer, they're kind of tough. They kind of make you a bit more tired. I would say throwing 110 pitches and coasting through 7 innings is just as hard as throwing 90 pitches through 5 innings, getting shelled for like 4 runs or so. Slider just missed, just a tad high. Actually, it's a 1-2 count. It's actually a 3-1 count. It's a 2-0, and slider missed outside. So it's Naka, Watts, Mazzara. So again, after just seeing that walk, I really don't think he should go out there for the next inning. They're showing images of this guy they called the Bird, or Big Bird even. He would toss to the baseball. He would shake everyone's hands, just like this really quirky guy. I think he actually died in a car crash and, limited his career. He actually wasn't a bad pitcher by any means. So, very interesting guy. But poke the other way into left field. Frazier has a good arm. He's going to fire in. Right to the plate, and it gets him. It's in time. He threw out Andrus. So there we go. Frazier showing off the defense, making up for that double that he let up earlier. That was a straight throw, and wow. That saved a run and then perhaps an even bigger inning from the Rangers. And Andrus really just weeping for the plate, and good job by Sanchez to tag him right before, and an even better throw from Frazier. Wow, what a play. So despite that offensive misplay earlier, his arm is just as strong, and see the defense improve a little bit. So the Rangers do pick up a run, strain one, and have a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Oh, there's actually two guys left on base. That makes more sense. And we are back. Yeah, what a defensive play from Clint Frazier. He'll get a chance to pass it since Voigt, Talkman, and Frazier drew up. Actually, never gave the defensive alignment for the Rangers, so I'll do that now because it's better than doing it later. We have Andrews at short, Calhoun in left, Mazar in right, Santana at third, Odor at second, Guzman at first, Shields at the center, Trevino behind the plate, Minor on the bum, and Chu DHing. So Minor through the first 4 innings had 57 pitches, which is excellent. Really being efficient today. This will be number 60 right here. And Voigt rips it down the line, and that's a fair ball. There'll be extra bases for Luke Voigt. And he'll be in there safely. Didn't even have to slide. Actually, the left fielder, let's see, just announced it. I'm pretty sure it's Guzman. No, is it Guzman? No, it's Calhoun. So Calhoun is playing outfield today. It's Guzman first, but yeah, Calhoun actually got that ball pretty quickly, but didn't give a strong throw to try to get out Voigt. So, hey, first extra base hit since the first inning. Gotta love it. I think the Yankees should be pumped up right now since Frazier, their returnee, had a great throw. You know, Frazier's up this inning and then try to prove it with the bat as well. Got Talkman, who already has a hit today. Let's make it a multi-hit game. And yeah, I mean, Minor struggles after the fourth inning. So, you know, let's do some damage right here. I want to tie up this ball game at least this inning. Come on, let's see them in action. You know, it's not. I mean, he didn't have a great day today. You know, definitely not his best performance. Let's see. Gave up 3, 4, 7 to 2 walks. So pretty bad actually. But you know, considering he only gave 2 runs and just grinded through it, you know, you got to give the man credit that he was able to find a way out of it. You know, for the most part, the defense wasn't with him before that really nice throw from Frazier. And the Rangers, you know, played him pretty well. They had really long at bats, hit the ball hard a couple times. As Talkman fouls it off 1 and 2. So, I mean, I really do hope Tanaka does not come out for next inning because he did not let Sharp at all in the 5th. That was probably his worst inning. You know, gave up the home run, gave up a couple other hits. By far his worst inning. So, hey, thank you for the 5 innings. Thank you for keeping us in the ball game. Let's turn it over to the bullpen. You know, I understand. We probably got to put in our C relievers for someone like Ryan Dole. That ball, but it's hit right to the Shields, as Voigt will say at second. Hit pretty hard, but just right where the Shields is playing at. So, hey, Yankees hit 2 balls in a row pretty hard, and Frazier also hits the ball very hard. Let's see how good that throw was. That throw went 243 feet. It was registered at 96.5 miles per hour. So, you know, it's interesting. I never think his arm was in question. I think it was just his range. And you saw earlier on that was a play that he should have made in the outfield. But I think his arm, you know, in like the early years of his career. You saw it a little bit earlier in the before he got sent down. Is that sometimes his arm would kind of airmail it, but he always had a strong arm. He just wasn't accurate. Maybe he's corrected that a little bit, and that was a really good throw. He actually has I think maybe like 3 or 4 assists on the year because people think, oh, he's got outfitter. Let's run at him. But he actually has a great arm. That was a nice throw there. And let's see if he can contribute to the bat as well. As that fastball hits the inside corner 1-1. You know, it was Miner's fastest pitch of the game. That was at 94. And Frazier, you talk about him hitting well when he was up here at the beginning of the season. He batted 375 with 5 homers, I think 16 RBIs, so pretty good. That slider misses low, 2-1. The last time up, Frazier hits an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. So that must have left a sour taste in his mouth. Let's see if he can do some damage here. He was originally drafted by the Indians, but came over along with J.P. Firestone and I think Rashad Crawford from the Indians trade. Maybe and Ben Heller. Crawford, I think Crawford may have come from the Cubs, but I know at least Heller, Firestone, and Frazier came from the Indians trade. And interestingly enough, Firestone actually got traded today, and we haven't heard about him for years. I think he was barely up in the majors, maybe a brief cup of coffee call up in September. But he got traded to the Rose for this 16-year-old prospect who's supposedly supposed to be pretty decent. He also got international bonus pool money, so at least we got some good trade out of him. The bullpen we have, I don't know if Firestone would have had a place, so I wish him the best of luck with the Royals, and I hope the new guy we got too is pretty good. Here comes the payoff pitch. And a high fly ball. That one do a job. Who's going to catch it? Will it be on Odor, who just caught in front of Andrus. And saying, what's going on? About to throw his glove at him. So the Andrus shows continue. Andrus explained to him, hey, don't get in my territory. Andrus pokes his clean the dirt, and Odor says, no, that's my dirt. Caught it right in front of him. As long as someone catches it and they're having good fun. But Andrew's saying, hey, what are you doing over here? Get back over to your area. Almost throws his glove at him. It was pretty funny. So Odor kind of becoming a new counterpart to Gonzalez. And Wade hits down the gap but Shields runs it down. He's so fast. And Shields gets such a good read, too. He's such a good outfielder. That was a pretty good mash by Wade. So although the Yankees strain one this inning, they've hit the ball, hard 3 times this inning. Hopefully next inning we'll get some heading in the right direction in terms of hitting the ball hard and getting guys on base. So that's okay. So as we head to the top of the 6th, the Rangers are still up 2-0. So we are back. We have some injury reports from today and yesterday. So Aaron Hitz is playing catch, which is good. So he's on his way back. CC got his knee drained. Doesn't have a timetable yet, but at least the process is going along. And Severino made his first AAA start yesterday, as that slider misses outside 1-0. Well, not the first AAA start he ever had, but first one he's had in a while. So even though you have 2 runs, 2 hits, and a walk, and including a home run, 2 innings pitched and 33 pitches, which isn't that great, but he felt good on the mound, and his arm looked really good. The reason why I said that is because he had shoulder surgery, so the fact that he's looking good in that type of area, that's a good sign. And I am annoyed with Boom that Tanaka is in the ballgame still, because he was not good last inning. So why would you bring him out here for another one? Maybe it's to save the bullpen, I guess. Why not? You're already losing, so okay. But don't you want to keep this guy fresh for the playoffs? Why would you make him throw another inning when he doesn't have his stuff today? I'll grant it to Torres, who I think that was Torres who fielded it. There's 2 guys in the same area, both on the outfield grass, and I swear 10 feet away from each other. So 1 away. You're not sure who fielded that. Check it out. And here comes the pitch. Fastball just missed outside. Sanchez thought he had it, but then smacked his hand in his glove when he didn't get it. I feel you, Gary. I thought you had that one too. Guzman swings through that hanging slider. That's what I'm talking about. Guzman has some decent power, and he didn't get cheated there. Just missed that one. Yeah, Torres was the one who fielded that one. That's what I thought. Oh, wow. So it's not because – why are they laboring him? Yeah, they just said that his last 2 starts have been over 100 pitches. He's at 95 right now. So that slider's in the dirt 2-2. So, yeah, I don't get it. If you're already losing, put in your C reliever, you'd be just fine. Why would you throw in Tanaka for another inning? I mean, I would give Tanaka credit because – he hasn't had his best stuff, and he's keeping the Yankees in the ballgame. It's 2 runs, which is very good. And, obviously, if you're a pitcher, you're going to, if your manager wants you out for another one, you're never going to tell him no. Almost 99% of the time, you're never going to tell him no. And Nestor Cortez Jr. is warming up. Wonder if he'll pitch the remainder of the game. And he strikes out Guzman there in the high fastball. So, hey, so far it's paying off. Tanaka getting the first 2 outs of the inning very quickly. He looks a bit tired on the mound, honestly. And the announcer was saying he was kind of bailing out on his motion a bit. So, he's ready to hit the showers, as they say. And with that strikeout, that was Tanaka's 1, 2, 3, 4th strikeout of the day. It's actually pronounced Delino de Shields, and he is up right now. I never really thought that Delino de Shields can ground to a double play, because he literally is one of the fastest guys in baseball. I think he ran a 30 – he runs 30 feet per second or something. So, yeah, the fact that they turned a double play is just almost pure luck that he hit it hard enough that they were able to turn it. And even though they did turn it, he just beat him by a step, which shows you how fast it was. And Shields on the season is batting .248 with 3 homers, 26 RBIs, and a .333 on base percentage. Well, as I mentioned before, he's 4th in steals and has really good defense. So You need guys like that in your lineup, of course, but he's limited offensively. That slider misses low 2-1. And it's funny because he looks smaller than he actually is. The Rangers have some small guys. They have Jose Trevino at 5'11", Shields at 5'11". They have Willie Calhoun at 5'11", and they have Odor at 5'8". Odor's at 5'11", and Calhoun's at 5'11". No, sorry. Calhoun is 5'11", 5'8". Wow. Calhoun is 5'8", Odor is 5'11". Don't know why that took me a minute to get that out, but that's what it is. So Tanaka trying to finish the Shields here in his 103rd pitch. Can he go 6 strong? Well, ground to second. Wade fires the first in time. Tanaka, it's not of his best stuff, but gets us through 6 strong innings. So thank you, Tanaka, for going the distance. I'm not happy with himself up today. I could see it in his face, but you know what? He's a grinder. He'll do what's asked of him. He's quite the professional. So thank you, Tanaka, for giving us some innings today. Much needed. Rangers still lead 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Alrighty, so you know what I like about this inning? We have the top of the order, which I love, and we're facing Minor 3rd time through the order. Pitchers generally struggle 3rd time through the order, and he's off after the 4th inning, and Yankees were getting hard last inning. So this is our inning to break it out. I bet there'll be at least 1 run this inning. So that fastball hits the inside corner, 1-0. I mean 0-1, excuse me. He's just have 3 hits today, but 2 of them have gone for extra bases. It's a double by Sanchez in the last inning, a double from Voigt. The other guy to get a hit was Mike Tauchman. So 1-1. Did it go on that? And LeMahieu does hold up, according to the first base umpire, who is Eric Cooper. Ball tapped. Can be a bit of a tough play for Andrus, but fields it easily. Makes the throw in time, so 1 away. Not as tough as I thought. It was a chopper, but Andrus had control the entire time, so there is 1 away. Here's Aaron Judge, who has ground up to short and struck out looking. He's batting .276, 19 homers, 43 RBIs, and a .384 on base percentage. Like I said, Judge had a really good last couple of weeks in August. As that curveball dumps him for a strike 0-1. So hopefully that will carry into the final month the regular season and into the postseason. Comes the 0-1. Slider misses low, 1-1. So Minor looks like has a fastball, curveball, slider. Might have a changeup in there too. And here comes his 1-1. And a high fly ball, but that will be caught by Mazzara, 2 away. So far, my prediction has not come true. Maybe I jinxed it. We still got time, but, the clock's ticking, as they say. He's got 10 outs to try to score at least 2 runs. Here's Gleyber Torres batting 285, 33 homers, 78 RBIs, and 348 on base percentage on the year. And today he has walked and struck out. Today, let's make it the 3 true outcomes. Walk, strike, and home run. Let's see his 34th homer right here. Good cut there as he fouls it off 0-1. And here comes the pitch. Slider in there for a strike. This curveball and the slider worked really well. That slider just is a really good backdoor slider, meaning that it moves to the righty's back knee. By righties, I mean right-handed hitters. Curveball is good loopy action. Good hard break. Fastball plays 92 to 94. So, all good stuff. Especially from the left side. And here comes the 1-2. Popped up. Pretty deep fly ball. And Mazzara catches in front of the trap. So Yankees go down 1-2-3. As Minor has retired the last 6 batters, and we head to the top of the 7th inning. And we are back. So I'm assuming Tanaka's out of the game. It does look like Cortez Jr. is in there. So Tanaka gave us 6 strong innings. Kept us in the ball game, but cannot get the win for tonight's game. As we got the game when the